What's up? My name is Jarod Coffman with Coffman Construction. We're back on this episode of the series. We're going to be getting into the framing that had to be done. We talked about finding out whether or not a house has good bones. And in this case, we're essentially doing surgery on the home to ensure that we do have good bones and we have good structure moving forward for the rest of the project.
Colorado Rehab, a Build Pro original series. Sponsored by Pella Windows and Doors.
All right, I'm gonna take a minute and give a shout out to one of the companies that's made this whole Colorado Rehab happen, and that's Huber Engineered Woods. As someone who's still pretty early in my career, I'm learning a lot of these things in real time, and Huber has actually played a really big part in that. Not just the products, but understanding how to build these assemblies the right way. They're known for innovation in the building space, but what I've noticed that everything they do is really builder focused. It's not overcomplicated, it's just systems that make sense on the job site. On this house specifically, we ran into a situation where we wanted to increase the exterior performance, add continuous insulation, tighten up the air and water control, but we didn't want to rip everything off and start from scratch. And that's where their system came into play. They helped me understand how to layer everything properly, work with the existing structure we already had, and still get a big performance upgrade. It's just a way more streamlined process. And that's the difference. It's not just individual products, but it's how everything works together as a system. At the end of the day, what I respect about Huber is they're helping you solve real problems, saving time, reducing headaches, and helping you build something that's actually gonna last. So big thanks to Huber for supporting the project and helping me level up on this one. So as we're walking through, the first thing I see is this wall. This wall here essentially serves the purpose of keeping you from falling into the stair hole. It'll get sheetrock, it'll get a nice little trim cap on top, but originally this wall was not even close to this strong. It was just framed, there wasn't any studs let down into the floor. So that had to get ripped out and had to get rebuilt, and that's a critical one too, because that seriously affects the safety of actually living in the house and using the stairs up and down. So something I did, you can kind of see here at the bottom, we've got this stud here that runs through the bottom plates down past the subfloor. Drop it in on top of the beam there, and then slot it in right next to my stud. I've got one here, and I've got one here, just a little bit past the end of the wall. Otherwise, we would have a massive pivot point because this wall would be freestanding with no bracing on this side, and really a very insignificant amount of force could fully push this thing over. It's the same reason why on this knee wall I have in the kitchen, I didn't let studs down into the floor because the joists, the way they were run, didn't allow it. But I'm not as worried about this one because once the cabinets are set here, this wall is going to reinforce the cabinets and the cabinets are going to reinforce the wall. It's all going to work together pretty well where I won't have to be worried about the structural integrity of that. Another thing we had to do, and this is very important during the framing stage, is getting your ROs right. An RO means a rough opening for your window. Usually you're looking at 1 inch bigger vertically and horizontally than the actual width of the window frame. So in this case, in order to get that right height, and have it be flush with this wall, which means that my countertops will go flush into this window. This is actually gonna bump out, but this sill is really about 12 inches wide, so we'll have a decent little usable countertop space there, which will also work as sort of like a bar countertop on the deck as well. So now, I briefly mentioned this area in the previous episode. We used to have sort of a built-in entertainment center kind of thing with a fireplace in the middle. This went floor to ceiling with a very thick, heavy stone. So I wanted to open this up to maximize the square footage in here and give us a little more freedom and usable wall space for furniture and storage and things like that. I'm gonna rip out all this and rebuild it full height so that way we can add a little bit of space to our tiny living room. But what we're gonna do is we'll come up here, we're gonna be a little bit lower than that corner, and then we're gonna go up at an angle following the same pitch of the roof all the way. So this thing that I'm building here is basically gonna be the little roof bump out. Because I don't want to bring the roof up too much higher, I'm basically gonna nail it onto the side of the wall, and then we'll frame in across like that Since it's just the 12-inch overhang, that will be plenty strong enough. You can kind of see how the overhang works on the roof there. Not too bad. I also did this kind of cool arch detail framing. It's pretty simple to do if you know how to calculate it. You can just calculate your width and the rise you want and punch it into a construction calculator. It'll give you the radius you want. So we figured out our radius. Troy is pulling it now. See, it puts us right on our corner there. 10 foot 2 1/4. So you can just hold right on that, scribe it all the way across. The arch is all pretty much finished up. I just need to throw a little backing in this corner. Then I gotta figure out something to do for this top part. So another thing I did in here, this is gonna be the master bedroom. Originally, the layout of this house was the pass-through into this hallway area was open floor to ceiling. But I actually opted to lower the ceiling, match it with the ceiling of the walk-in closet, and I added a door here. And the reason for that is I'm turning this hallway, which used to have like a hallway vanity in there, which was popular a while ago. It's not really popular nowadays. So I deleted that, but I used some of the existing plumbing to run hookups for a washer and dryer. So I'll have a mini laundry room attached to the master suite essentially, which I'm pretty stoked about. And what dropping the ceiling in here allowed me to do, you can see I've got this plywood on here above me. All of that was just dead space before. All this dead space is now usable storage space. Got my little door over there. So I showed before how the original stairs had to be demoed out. Now I can talk a little bit about how I built the new ones. Our risers are all nice and flush. So you can see how this top piece of plywood hangs up tall. This is literally gonna go flush to the floor. It's glued and got the crap stapled out of it back there. And we'll literally just nail this whole thing onto the existing floor. And it should pretty much put us exactly where we want these to be. So another thing I did here is you can see I have this gap between the studs and the stringers. Having this gap makes it so that way when the drywallers come in, they can run their sheets all the way down through there. It'll be much cleaner, much faster, and the stairs are plenty strong enough on their own as far as structure is confirmed. Now, a few other things that we found while we're down here, a lot of the framing was looking a lot like this, where there was no sill plate. In Colorado, we have this really interesting floating wall detail. You can see I've got an open space between the bottom plate, the pressure treated piece, and the actual bottom plate of the wall. The reason for that is we have an expansive soil. So we have to literally account for expansion at the bottoms of our walls. So that way, if the concrete literally is pushed up by the soil underneath it, it won't hit the wall and move the whole rest of the house. Once this green plate gets fastened, we'll be running a 60D 6-inch nail through the bottom plate into that, which will hold it tight enough to keep it rigid, but it has freedom to slide up and down if needed. So another thing that I did while I was working down here and everything's opened up, I changed the layout a little bit. So originally this wall ran all the way through and there was no door in it. You can kind of see the lines in the concrete, and where the door used to be in the bedroom was over here through this little hallway thing, which was kind of an odd spot because this whole hallway was essentially useless. So I closed that off. I'm gonna put a door here so that way this can be a small walk-in closet. Now the new door is right there, and this can now be classified as a standard bedroom, because for something to be classified as a bedroom, you need to have proper egress and you need to have a closet. So the takeaway for this episode would be doing surgery to get the good bones you need to have a good foundation moving forward with the rest of the project. Also taking this time to think ahead and set yourself up for success regarding the other trades and things that are going to be coming in. Ensuring your ROs are the perfect size for both your windows and doors, or even just utilizing spaces that would otherwise be buried forever. And with that, catch you guys in the next one.